everything around us consists of molecules. Anion is an atom, or group of atoms carrying a negative charge. The charge results because there are more electrons than protons in the anion. Negative ion may help to increase the flow of oxygen to the brain, resulting in a higher alertness, decreasing drowsiness, and give more mental energy. The laws of nature are undeniable. All creation originated with a divine balance within it, and at the heart of that balance are anions. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to breathe in the forest versus the city, or in the mountains versus the desert? Obviously, the concentration of anions per unit of space may differ up to 40 times. Well, knowing this, the team of Winolite scientists has evolved this concept, incorporating the force of nature into technology intended to bring the balance back into the human body. Every Love Moon Anion sanitary napkin has been equipped with an insert, which is capable of releasing up to 5,800 anions per cubic centimeter. Activation of such high volume of anions by contact with fluids such as bodily secretion will generate a large volume of oxygen, and the negative ion, or anion, will attach itself to the bacteria. This process will produce a low electric current that may help to disallow the survival and multiplication of bacteria and viruses within the affected area. Menstruation is a vital part of every woman's life for 30 to 35 years, which calculates to roughly 2,500 critical days. During this period of time, a woman's body is weakened, and the lack of safety measures could have a negative effect on her health. The cycle is associated with the blood hormone levels, and inflammation within the reproductive system causes changes in these levels. As the organs within the reproductive system work in conjunction with one another, the dysfunction of one leads to an imbalance within the entire body. Our skin is a large absorbing organ with a multitude of pores and folds, which are a breeding ground for microbes. With a natural exposure, this causes no harm to us, but in a warm and moist place without excess of light and oxygen, the processes of decay begin to take place. Through the genitalia, infections find their way into the internal organs of women's reproductive importance, and this is where the problems begin. All this leads to vaginal, ovarian, and tubal inflammatory processes, as well as issues with bladder, kidneys, and tracts. The recurrence of these inflammations, even when treated with medications, evolves into a chronic form. Majority of times, these chronic illnesses are not accompanied by severe symptoms, but instead, the dull discomfort is something a woman gets used to, and the problem is being ignored. Prolonged chronic inflammations could develop into swellings and tumors, which if recognized in time, can save a woman's life. Another grave concern is the toxic shock syndrome. Toxic shock syndrome is a rare, life-threatening bacterial infection that has been most often associated with the use of tampons and occasionally with the use of contraceptive sponges. Many things could be said about various pathologies and problems women are facing today, but we will redirect your attention to the solution rather than the problem. Every illness or disease may be associated with a positive atomic charge, whereas anions, as we have recalled before, are negative. This is where the ingenious of the technology shines. Simplicity. Basic equation of balance. Take the positive and balance it out with a negative. Winolite's insert, possessing the abundance of negative anionic charges, is intended to directly address the women's issues, and it does so as direct as possible. Love Moon Anion sanitary napkins were created with a total health idea, to not just prevent future problems, but to restore the health of every woman as well. The process of oxygenation and electric exchange targets only the positively charged atoms of bacteria, viruses, and other symptomatic occurrences, thus renovating the defenses of the organism and stabilizing the overall well-being of a woman. You're about to see what is actually inside of these wonder-making sanitary napkins by Winolite. You will see how they compare to some of the other products on the market, even though there is no comparison.